Now we are talking to Marco. So I'm really excited to hear this today because it's not often, if ever, actually, I think that I've heard someone talking about rent to rent in a setting like this. So Marco has been full-time property investor for 8 years. First of all in Croatia for 3 years, and then after that for 5 years being based in the UK. Rent to rent and lease options are always things that we tend to hear a lot about, but to really get to do a bit of a delve into what happens on the inside is quite special, really. And Marco's done more than 50 rent to rent and lease option deals, I believe, and he's going to share some of his secrets today. So listen away, everyone. And if you've got any questions, pop them into the chat and also into the Q&A box, and Marco can answer them afterwards. Marco, nice to see you.
Hi, hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for nice introduction. Thank you also, Tom and Chris, for inviting me and also to helping me with when I was struggling with my business. So now I don't have a lot of minutes, so I'm gonna try to do as many use cases as I can. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about rent-to-rents, or what some agents call it subletting, when they don't allow it. But if there is any agents, I need to disappoint. It's not illegal. It's just something that they don't know about. So they tell you it's illegal at the start, but when you explain to them, it's all good. So I have done quite a few of rent to rent so far, and lease options. Some of them are rent to HMO, some of them are rent to service accommodation. So all of it works if you make an effort to do it the right way, and if your numbers work. So I'm going to show you some of examples that we did. So this is the house that we took in Manchester. This was some photos before of the rooms and the living room. These are the numbers, what everybody is interested in. So at the beginning, we needed to invest almost £3,000, and this is for the new furniture, to repaint it, TV, to fix some issues. It's always issue with the boiler, with the radiator, and these standard things. Deposit to pay to the landlord or the agent. We try to reduce deposits with insurance, or if we have a good relationship with the landlord or the agent, we try to reduce deposit, but sometimes we need to pay it. This is how much we invested in total. These are our running costs, so every month that we need to pay, the rent to the landlord, utilities, cleanings, and maintenance. So in total is almost £2,300. So after we invested, we did a little bit better, in our opinion, the rooms and the living room. So some new furniture, repainted, some decorations in the room. We also did a few things. We always put the bedding just to attract more people. It looks nicer, like somebody's living there. These are our rents that we achieve for this property per room. So it's a 7-bedroom property. This is the room that we get now in this COVID year. Before that, we were getting a little bit higher rents, but now it's this year it's a little bit reduced, but it's still okay. So in total, it's a little bit over £3,000, and it gives us profit of £762 per month, this property. This is the other one that we did. This one is 8-bedroom property. This is after we repainted it, did the rooms, painted the ceiling. This is the first time that we painted the ceiling a dark color and left the walls magnolia, so a little bit change. With this one, we invested the start a little bit more, but there was no deposit and the rent was very, very low. So 1,200 for 8-bedroom property, that's quite good. And total running costs are 1,700. Our turnaround is 3,275 with the 8 rooms. Again, price is a little bit lower than before. 3,275, and with this one we make 1,500 per month after all the costs reduced, and these are the total rents. This property is a lease option, so we took this one as a lease option, but we are paying the rent to the landlord from the start. So we are paying the rent, and we have full control of the property. And in 5 years, we agreed to buy it for the price that we agreed basically 3 months ago when we took over this property. It needs work, but we left it in the same condition just because we already have tenants there. The landlord has some tenant. So we just improved some small things, some small issues they had, like a leak in a bathroom, thermostats, washing machine, and this. We put the Wi-Fi. They were without broadband in the house. So we upgraded a few things just to make their stay better, and so they can stay a little bit longer in the property. So this is the numbers, how much we invested at the start. Deposit was 0 because we agreed to buy, so everything that we invested in that property is benefit to us because we will at the end benefit from the price increase. So the rent to the landlord is 800, and this is a 4-bedroom property. Utilities, cleaning, we don't have a cleaning for that property because the tenants didn't want them, and they are already living there 2 years, so who are we to disagree? So the total running cost, a little bit over 1,100. These are the numbers. So our rents here are very low. Again, the same reason, because the tenants are there for a very long time, and we don't want to disturb them. They can stay there. They're very nice, and we are just waiting for our years to pass so we can buy it at the price that we agreed, but in 5 years' time, so we can benefit from the increase of the value. So this is the profit that we are getting, 150 per month. It's very, very low. Some of you wouldn't even touch it, but for us was a good deal because we agreed purchase price of 150. We reduced this price because there are some things to be done at the property. And we agree, we started this deal in February and we completed in August when we took the keys. And now just one property came to the market in same street on the corner, and it's advertised for 175. So we are hoping to see this number increase. Sorry, not this number, but the price of the property to increase in 5 years. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm ready if anybody has any questions for me.
That was really, really great. Thanks, Marco.
No problem.
I'm just keeping an eye on I've got a lot of questions for you actually, but my first question would be, how many years is the ideal lease option? Is there an ideal, or do you tend to do what the owner wants?
I like lease option to take between 3 to 5 years, just because if it's a less than 3, maybe you won't benefit from the price increase. And if it's less than 5, so for example, if you agreed on a council house in London 15, 20 years ago, and you agreed on, I don't know, £50,000, and now it's worth 1 million, the owner, previous owner, will probably get the house back, will give the solicitor, I don't know, half of the million to get the house back. So I think the golden middle is around there 5 years, so you can benefit with the price increase, but not a lot, so they don't pursue you and get the house back or some ridiculous amount that they can agree.
Got you. Okay, we've got questions racing in thick and fast now. So next one is, what what's the ideal profit you're looking at? I was really interested to see your profits changing, quite a bit per deal. So what's your ideal profit per?
For rent to rent.
For rent to rent, yeah.
So I tend to work out a little bit differently than other people. So I approach every deal like a completely new approach for every deal. So for example, I would look in a rent to rent minimum £500, but saying that it will be 4 or 5 bedroom property. If it's 6, 7 or 8, I would go over that price, over the profit. But then again, if you have a property that is right next to the one that you already have, for example, you have in the same street already 1 or 2, I would maybe go under 500. Or if I think that landlord or the agent will give me more properties in the future, I would maybe again go under 500 of the profit.
Oh, cool. So you've really got a really long-term view on it. Okay. Howard and Kathy have got one here. How are you sourcing your rent to rents, Marco?
So I source rent to rents by myself. I also work with some sourcers when they send me something. Usually sourcers don't have good deals, because by the time you pay fees and you pay the deposits and the rent and you invest in the property, it takes very, very long time for you to get your money back. So usually I try to find rent to rents by myself. The way I like to do things is to approach the agents. Just because if you make good connection with the agent and you take the property from them and everything is okay, you are managing it for half year, 1 year, and they like you because you do everything right, you're just going to get more properties from them. So after a while, if you do this for a few years, you will just stop looking for properties because they will call you and you won't need to find them. So it will be a little bit maybe easier.
Cool. Okay. Good one. Okay. Next question here is, how are you planning on buying all these properties? Are you going to buy all these properties in the end? And will you give it any back? Are you adding value? Are you saving from multiple deposits? So I suppose 3 questions there. How are you planning on buying them all? Are you going to buy them all, or are you going to give any back?
It's a very good question. I think it comes to your goals, like Tom said. If you want to build your portfolio, you're going to buy them. If this property that we agreed a few months ago is worth 200 and we are paying 150, deposit is then no problem, because you already have equity in that property. Even if you, I don't know, take money from somebody, you can give them next day, because you already have equity in that property. But if you don't want to build your portfolio, you want to move to live somewhere and you don't want any hassle, you want to buy a wind farm or something, then you can sell your lease options. You can just sell them, or you can sell the properties you agreed for 150, sell them to somebody else for 190, 200 after a few years. So it's all up to you. Some of them I'm keen on keeping, and some of them probably not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so you've got options. Okay, and what price do you agree on? Today's price, 5 years time price, or
today price? Yes.
Today
price.
Today price.
Today price, because usually the property that you agreed on a lease option, you will need to invest in that property, and the landlord is either tired or doesn't have the money or doesn't want to bother with it. So you agree the price today, sometimes a little bit more, but just a little bit more. But for me, I prefer to agree even less price than today, but give them a little bit more rent. Because I get covered my rent from the tenants, so my cash flow doesn't. It's okay because I have a mixture of rent to rents and lease options. So I agree on a little bit less of the purchase price, but give them a little bit higher the rent. But this higher rent is It's just something, you know, like instead of 800, 825, something like this. You don't really fit it, but at the end you agreed on a better price.
Okay, and we've got a lot of questions in, rolling up here. So, what is the what is the best way to start a relationship with a letting agent from scratch?
Depending if you are a guy or girl. No, I'm joking. So the best thing is just to arrange viewings and go around and talk with people and tell them honestly what you are doing. Be completely honest, transparent, and just talk with people. That we are all people. It's just you need to click and or go to agencies. I knock on the doors of the agencies and ask to speak with a manager or with the agent who is in charge. And the more properties you see, the better connection will you have with this agent, because you will see him 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 times. So after a while, you again. So maybe they're gonna give you property just so you can leave and not bother them.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about consistent and showing up, isn't it? By the sounds of it.
Yeah. So.
We've got quite a few questions in the Q&A there, but just in the interest of time, what I'm wondering is if you're okay to type your answers in those questions, and we'll move on to the next agenda point.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you so much for that,
Thank
Marco.
you.
That was I've learned a lot. I'm sure everyone else has as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
See you later.